The last time I caught up with Flip Grater was quite some time ago actually. She was releasing her Be All and End All album, and it's been some time since I've had a really good chat with her, so I thought, hey, you're in the middle of a tour, let's chat. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you.
Now this tour that you're in the middle of, it's called Le Tour de Tois. I got that right, didn't I?
That's right, yeah.
What's it all about?
It's a tour that I'm doing with Delaney Davidson and an amazing French artist called Marianne Dessard, who is coming to New Zealand for the first time. So the three of us are doing this tour together, hence Le Tour de Tois.
And why the three of you together?
Well, Delaney met Marianne when he was playing in the States. He's just been touring Europe and the States for the last sort of 6 months.
Okay.
And they played a show together. She plays with Calexico and those guys, so I think through alt country circles they kind of met up. And she said that she wanted to tour New Zealand, so he got her in touch with me and we just ended up wanting to do it together. And it worked out to be quite a perfect fit actually, because all three of us have a lot of European influences and also alt country influences, so that's kind of the tying piece, you know, that's what ties us together. So.
And you've also been in Europe recently, haven't you?
Yeah,
Bit of a tour, was it?
I did a European tour last year, 2 months. And went to 7 countries.
7 countries?
Yeah.
Where'd you go?
I went to Germany and Denmark and Sweden, France, Italy, England.
Was that just
Holland.
you by yourself, or?
Yeah, it was a solo tour.
Awesome.
It was fantastic.
It must be a bit nerve-wracking going to a town where potentially you don't speak their language, that kind of thing. Like, did you have any of those moments when you're like, I don't know what
am I doing here? Yeah, I actually, the only time I had that moment was in Bordeaux when I arrived, but that was before my tour manager joined me, so I was truly alone. And just sort of arrived in town, and the language barrier was about this high. You know, it was, nobody understood a word I was saying, and when I got off the train I got into a taxi and asked to go to the city centre, and he didn't know the words city, centre, tourist information, anything. So that was quite tricky.
Did you have like a default Flip Grater setting that you kind of switch to when you get yourself into those sort of situations?
Yeah, I just start speaking very, very slowly and trying to use my phone to dial up some translations.
Yeah. How were you received in those countries?
Really well actually. As a result of that tour I now have a French manager, and we'll be spending much more time in France from now on. So
hence the whole French connection with Marianne and the three, Le Tour de Tois.
And trying to learn a little bit of French and try to speak a little bit of French and things like that.
So this is like, I guess for you, you've got a whole bunch of new material coming out soon. Is this like a platform for you to present some of your new material to the public?
Yeah, it is actually. I think Delaney and I will both on this tour be singing songs that we've both written whilst on tour overseas, and particularly songs that we've written in Europe, so there are lyrics that allude to that, and sort of themes around touring and around our experiences in Europe. So I'm definitely going to be singing some of my new material that that has a lot of European influence in it.
When I spoke to you before, you alluded to an album in the process. Has this been recorded, or are you just sort of in the stages of writing at the moment? Yeah,
I've only just moved to Auckland a couple of months ago, and as soon as I got here, I started recording, just went straight into the studio, and we've recorded a whole new album, whole new band, whole new producer. It's very exciting, this whole new thing for me. So I've got a new album that will come out probably mid-year, maybe July or August.
I guess moving cities alone, I mean, you came from Christchurch to Auckland, that's a huge enough step in itself. Does it feel like a new sort of era for Flip Grater?
It does actually. I really love Christchurch and I loved being based there, but it's very exciting and Auckland's full of new opportunities for me, so I'm sure that things are going to go really well up here. I'm really enjoying it.
Because as well as your music, you've got your label, Maiden Records.
That's right.
And I've also heard that you've got another cookbook coming out soon.
Yeah.
Tell us
so
about
that's
it.
what I was doing in Europe. I was touring to play shows, obviously, and collect recipes. So I've got a new cookbook, the Cookbook Tour Europe, and that will come out at some point this year, probably late year. And that's going to be all tour stories from Europe and European recipes, so French recipes and Italian recipes, and just...
And all vegetarian?
All vegetarian, yeah.
Must be difficult to get like French recipes which are vegetarian.
Yeah, France was difficult actually. That was the most difficult place. Harder than Germany, surprisingly, because they're all about sausage and cheese. But and I actually, on the way to Paris from London, I was on the train next to a woman who who was like an English teacher living in London, but from France. And she asked me what I was doing, and I said, oh, I'm playing shows and collecting recipes. And the first thing she said was, oh, you're not vegetarian, are you? I said, well, actually, I am vegetarian. Oh, you're going to have a terrible, terrible time. How terrible for you.
That's positive, yeah.
Awesome. It was quite an introduction to France, because basically after that I knew it was going to be difficult to find anything that wasn't meat. But it wasn't too bad, yeah.
I think your last cookbook was interesting too, because it was a very New Zealand-centric affair. I mean, this must be quite markedly different.
Yeah. It's definitely got that whole European twist to it, but it's still obviously from the perspective of a Kiwi touring Europe, so it still is a New Zealand book, but it's got all these little travel gems, and it's got everything that everyone loves, which is music and food and travel.
Awesome. So give us a timeline. Cookbook, album, when?
Yeah, I think at this point it looks like I'm going to spend a little bit of time in Paris in April, then the album will come out, the new album will come out around July, August, and the cookbook toward the end of the year.
Sounds like you got it pretty well mapped out.
Yeah, it's an exciting year. Yeah.
And also the tour is happening over the next couple of weeks. Whereabouts are you visiting?
Yeah, so we're going to do 10 dates around New Zealand, and it's basically for the next 2 weeks, so ending at the end of January.
And that's North Island and South Island?
North Island and South Island. People can get the dates from my MySpace page.
Which is?
Which is myspace.com/flipgrater. And tickets are available online from Under the Radar website, undertheradar.co.nz.
That is Le Tour de Tois with Delaney Davidson and Marianne Dessard and Flip Grater. Go and check them out, playing in a town near you. And I thought we'd leave now with something taken from your Be All and End All album. I have to ask you, have you been brushing up on your ping pong skills?
Not nearly enough.
No practice.
But summer's the perfect time for ping pong, so I think it's time to get back into it.
Good girl. Flip Grater, it's been a pleasure. This is Flip Grater with Ring Around the Rosie.